everybody, it's Norma. Okay, so I'm going to continue. I'm back in the office. Yay. Not in the parking lot that I was in video 2, but or study session 2, but now back in the office. So we're going to continue with more flashcards, okay? In the future, I plan to do some Quizlets. I did find one Quizlet that somebody put already on Quizlet, and I think was over 300 flashcards questions on the TEXES 7th through 12th ELAR already. So why reinvent the wheel, right? So I'm going to probably use that. And well, actually, I did use it for about 15 minutes. And it was very interesting. And there's still lots of information I do not know. And I also found the periods of the novels for world literature. And I realized that there was a lot of questions that I wasn't able to answer because I do not know the time periods of world literature. So that's one thing that I really need to review on. So we'll do that in the future. But right now, we're going to continue with our flashcards. Excuse me. All right. Explain the role of fluency in literacy development. All right. And it says, fluency is the goal of literacy development. It is the ability to read accurately and quickly. Evidence of fluency includes the ability to recognize words automatically and group words for comprehension. At this point, the student no longer needs to decode words except for complex, unfamiliar ones. He or she is able to move to the next level and understand the meaning of the text. And they have some examples here, like reading experience and discussions about text that gradually increase the level of difficulty. Reading practice both silently and out loud. Okay. Word analysis practice, instruction on reading comprehension strategies, opportunities to express responses to readings through writing. Okay. All right. Then second flashcard for today. Explain the alphabetic principle and discuss alphabet writing systems. And again, like I said in previous videos, this I'm trying to pass the English Language Arts and Reading 7 through 12 test or exam, Texas exam, TEXES. But I do have a lot of questions that have to do with children and the alphabetic principle, phonemes. And so I just think that's really kind of funny because I am not taking the test for EC, I think it's called EC through 4. Remember, I am in the old plan, so I know that exams are different now. I think it's called EC through 4, which I didn't take. I am old school. I have the old certification, which is 1st through 8th, but I know they're breaking it up, and so I can see that some of these, I wouldn't think it would be 7th through 12th, but hey, it all goes together. So there's a reason for everything, right? Okay. So again, the question is explain the alphabetic principle and discuss alphabet writing systems. All right. It says the alphabetic principle refers to the use of letters and combinations of letters to represent speech sounds. The way letters are combined and pronounced is guided by a system of rules that establishes relationships between written and spoken words and their letter symbols. Alphabet writing systems are common around the world. Some are phonological in that each letter stands for an individual sound and words are spelled just as they sound. However, keep in mind that there are other writing systems as well, such as a Chinese, I think it's called logographic system, and the Japanese symbolic system. And now, while I was reading that, I realized how the reason why they're asking me questions, because these are for ESL learners. And of course, in high school, you're going to have students that come from other countries, and you're going to have to start from scratch. I did have a student that came when they were in 7th grade, and they came from outside the country. And yeah, he did not know any English, and I had to start from scratch. I did use starfall.com in the classroom. So, you might be familiar with that. It's an online kind of, I guess, it's a program, and it starts with the alphabet and phonemes and phonemic awareness. So he did that. So that worked really well, but I had to really work with him with letters and sounds, and we did a lot of guided reading books. So that's why they're asking me those questions. All right. Define literacy. And it says literacy is commonly understood as the ability to read and write. Okay. And it says the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization has further defined literacy as the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, compute, and use printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. Okay. And it states that while reading literacy may be gauged simply by the ability to read in a newspaper, writing literacy includes spelling, grammar, and sentence structure. To be literate in a foreign language, and one would also need to be able to understand a language by listening and be able to speak the language. Okay. And they're also talking about computer literacy. It refers to one's ability to utilize the basic functions of computers and other technologies. Interesting. All right. Next question is describe the teaching of reading through phonics. Phonics is the process of learning to read by learning how spoken language is represented by letters. Students learn to read phonetically by signing out the phonemes in words and then blending them together to produce the correct sounds and words. Okay. And so it's important for decoding and reading. Okay. Excuse me 1 second. All right, here we go. List the facts children should know about letters. To be appropriately prepared to learn to read and write, a child should learn that each letter is distinct in appearance, what direction and shape must be used to write each letter, that each letter has a name which can be associated with the shape of a letter, that there are 26 letters in English alphabet and letters are grouped in a certain order, that letters represent sounds of speech, and that words are composed of letters and have meaning. Interesting. Okay. Next question. Explain phonological awareness. A subskill of literacy, phonological awareness, is the ability to perceive sound structures in a spoken word, such as syllables and the individual phonemes within syllables. Phonemes are the sounds represented by the letters in the alphabet. The ability to separate, blend, and manipulate sounds is critical to developing reading and spelling skills. Phonological awareness is concerned with not only syllables, but also onset sounds. That's the initial sound in a word, such as k in cat, and rhyme, R-I-M-E, the sounds that follow the onset in a word, such as at in cat. Phonological awareness is an auditory skill that does not necessarily involve print. Okay? All right, here we go. Define homographs and explain how to figure which meaning is being used. Okay, you can do homographs or homographs. It depends on what part of the country or what part of the U.S. you're saying. So I've heard of both. So sorry if I pronounce it differently than you do. Homographs are words that share the same spelling but have different meanings and sometimes different pronunciation. To figure out which meaning is being used, you should be looking for context clues. The context clues give hints to the meaning of the word. For example, the word spot has many meanings. It can mean a place, like I'm going to wait here in this spot, or it could be a stain or a blot, like I have a spot on my shirt. In this sentence, after my lunch, I saw a spot on my shirt. I just said that. And then again, stay in this spot. Okay. And it says a homograph is another type of homonym. Okay. What are the meanings of the following homograph or homograph? It depends on how you say it. Examples: incense, lead, and object or object. Okay. So you have incense, and this is the noun version, a material that is burned in religious settings and makes a pleasant aroma. And then you have the verb to frustrate or anger. So I think incense or incise. No, it can't be incense. It's incense. I never heard it in the verb term. Or maybe I have, I just don't remember. Okay, but anyways, lead. You have noun, the first or highest position. Okay, lead. Like the lead in a company. And then you have a noun, a heavy metallic element. And that would be lead. I know if you're not an English speaker or English is not your first language, English can be hard. So you have lead, like the lead in the company. And then if you're talking about a heavy metallic element, it's lead. And then to direct a person or group of followers, okay, that person is leading the line. And then containing lead. Okay. All right. Object, that's an object. Okay. There's two. There's object, which is a lifeless item that can be held and observed. And then you have to object, that's to disagree. Okay. I know the English language can be very confusing. All right. List classroom activities that teach phonological awareness. Okay. Classroom activities that teach phonological awareness include language play and exposure to a variety of sounds and the context of sounds. Activities that teach phonological awareness include clapping to the sounds of individual words, names, or all words in a sentence. Practicing saying blended phonemes, singing songs that involve phoneme replacement, reading poems, songs, and nursery rhymes out loud, reading pattern and predictable text out loud, listening to environmental sounds or following verbal directions, and then playing games with rhyming chants or finger plays, and reading text out loud, grouping objects by beginning sounds. Okay. All right. Oh, and I also talk about reordering words in a well-known sentence or making silly phrases. Okay. We got a few more. Oops, we're going to do a few more. All right. List ways to provide a print-rich environment in the classroom. A teacher can provide a print-rich environment in the classroom in a number of ways. These include displaying the following in the classroom: children's names in print or cursive, children's written work, newspapers and magazines, instructional charts, written schedules, signs and labels, printed songs and poems, and rhymes. And it's also saying that to use graphic organizers such as KWL charts or story roadmaps to remind students about what was read and discussed, expand on the lesson topic or theme, show the relationships among books, ideas, and words. And also using big books to point out features of print, such as specific letters and punctuation, track print from right to left, emphasize the concept of words and the fact that they are used to communicate. Okay. It's also saying to list the facts children should know about letters. Decoding is a method or strategy used to make sense of printed words and figure out how to correctly pronounce them. In order to decode, a student needs to know the relationships between letters and sounds, including letter patterns. Okay. And it's also saying that decoding can also refer to the skills a student used to determine the meaning of a sentence. So these skills include applying knowledge, vocabulary, in sentences or sentence structure and context. And the last flashcard. Thanks for hanging out, okay? Explain how children develop language skills and list ways to aid this development. Children learn language through interacting with others by experiencing language in daily and relevant contexts, and through understanding that speaking and listening are necessary for effective communication. Teachers can promote language development by intensifying the opportunities a child has to experience and understand language. So it's saying teachers can assist language development by the following: modeling enriched vocabulary, teaching new words, using question examples to extend a child's descriptive language skills, providing ample response time, asking for clarification, to provide students with the opportunity to develop communication skills, promoting conversations among children, providing feedback to let children know that they have been heard and understand, know that they have been heard and understood. And it's also saying about providing further explanation. So I think that I'm going to call it a day, I guess you could say, or call it quits. Again, if you're just joining me, this is my third study session. I do have two previous videos that you can look at as well. I'm going to try to do different. I am going to continue with the flashcards because I spent money on them. But I'm also going to do Quizlets and Kahoots. I learn differently. Because it's going to get tedious and boring. I can tell you that. And I'm trying to give myself 2 to 3 months. I know some people don't take that long. I do, because the fact that I want to make sure I'm ready. There's several things that I'm going to be tested on that I am not aware of. Some people received an English degree, but I did not. My degree is interdisciplinary studies, so it's various subjects for education. So there's items I do not know because, again, I didn't receive an English degree. So I have a lot of studying to do and catching up to do, and I'm going to do it. It's going to take me time, but I'm determined to study every day for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. We'll see. All right. Well, have a wonderful day. Keep studying, and hopefully we'll try again tomorrow and study again. All right. Bye.